Hey, this is Chris from Aliens and Strangers. Good to have you here today to watch another video from us. Today is something special. We are having our friend Andrew Phelps do basically a study on arpeggios and modes over the C major scale, so you can kind of bring together more chord tones and whatnot through your playing, and you can kind of hear chord changes and things better than you had before in your lead playing. So this is going to be a really very cool lesson. He spent a lot of time on it to make it a really intensive piece, and so enjoy this. Have a lot of fun, and thanks again for being here.
In today's exercise, we'll be shifting our focus from playing a scale to playing the chords and arpeggios within a scale. This way of thinking can help us make more melodic choices when soloing and writing better licks over chord changes. We'll be going through a simple process that can be applied to other scales, but for today, we'll keep things simple and be working with a classic 2-octave fixed position C major scale that starts on the 8th fret of the low E string. We really want to get the scale under our fingers and then start thinking of the notes. I recommend saying them out loud while you play. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Next, we're going to start playing all the modes in the C major scale. This will be a brief introduction to modes, and a lot more can be said on this topic, but simply put, we are playing the same collection of notes, but where we start and end playing is going to shift. For C Ionian, we'll play the same notes, but start on C and end on C an octave higher. C, up an octave to C, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. For D Dorian, we will do the same thing, but starting on the next note in the scale, which is D, and then ending on D an octave higher. So the same notes from D to D. For E Phrygian, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be playing from E to E within the same collection of notes, and it looks like this. The same pattern is going to apply to all other notes in the scale. So for F Lydian, we're playing F to F. For G Mixolydian, G to G. For A Aeolian, A to A. And for B Locrian, B to B. By shifting our starting and end points, we're creating different combinations of half and whole steps that we call modes. Next, we're going to start using our modes to play 7-chord arpeggios. To do this, we will be playing through every mode, but we will be playing every other note in each mode. This will essentially highlight the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th of each chord. By playing every other note in our C Ionian, we're going to be highlighting the C, E, G, and B. So if we were to play C Ionian, every other note, C, E, G, and B. This essentially is the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th of the C major 7 chord. To find our D minor 7 arpeggio, we will play every other note in our D Dorian mode. The notes that we're highlighting are the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7 of that 7 chord. The same applies to all other chords, using E Phrygian to find E minor 7, using F Lydian to find F major 7, using G Mixolydian to find G dominant 7, Again, every other note. Using A Aeolian to find A minor 7. The root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. And lastly, for B Locrian, we'll use it to find B half diminished 7. Our last exercise today is playing through all the complete 7-chord arpeggios within our scale shape. It's great to get this under your fingers, but even better to understand what you are playing. So I recommend playing the exercise while you say the chords out loud. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B half diminished 7, C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, and then ending on C. Now that we have those chord arpeggios under our fingers, it's time to use them over changes. Again, keeping things simple, we'll be playing over a 2-5-1 pattern in C. Our chords are D minor 7, G7, and C major 7. There are hundreds of backing tracks on YouTube that you can play along with. Or what I highly recommend is using a looper. These pedals can help you practice at your own pace, and you can use them as an instant metronome in a pinch. So I'm just going to loop a simple 2-5-1 and then start playing the arpeggio associated with that chord. D minor 7, G7, C major 7, C major 7. And now, when that comes back around, we're going to play the arpeggios with it. D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Just doing that over and over again, really getting out under your fingers. Another thing that you can do after playing the direct 7-chord arpeggio with its proper chord is playing the 7-chord arpeggio based off of the 3rd of that chord. For example, with D minor 7, we can play F major 7. For G dominant 7, we can play B half diminished 7. And for C major 7, we can play E minor 7. F major 7, B half diminished 7, E minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, B half diminished 7, E minor 7. Once you have played through those arpeggios, the next step is to use the framework and your ear to create licks that highlight those notes. By highlighting the notes in the arpeggio, you're telling the listener what chords you're playing. Our goal is to be able to solo without changes and have the listener instinctively know what our changes are. If I were to play random notes in the C major scale, it would technically be correct. And sometimes it can sound really good over changes. But our goal for right now is to create licks that sound good without changes. So in this example, tell me if you could tell me that I'm playing a 2-5-1. Whereas if I were highlighting the notes of the chord, I feel like you, the listener, could hear the changes in the 2-5-1, even though I'm playing some notes that aren't technically in the scale, but I'm highlighting the main arpeggios of each chord. For example, by experimenting and having a solid framework, you can begin to write licks much easier and have them sound more melodic. I hope you've enjoyed these exercises. To Chris and everyone over at Aliens and Strangers Music, thank you for letting me share. And to all of you, thank you for joining us. And I hope you came away with something new.
Well, thanks again to Andrew Phelps for doing that lesson for us. Such great content in there. I hope you really enjoy it. and really, glean a lot from it. Glean's a good word. We just thank you so much for your business. We thank you for your support, and we look forward to your feedback and comments and any suggestions you may have for us for videos or just about our business. What can we do better for you? We just thank you so much, and have a great one.